Kia ora everybody, and welcome to my video review and analysis of last night's 46-24 win, All Blacks vs Argentina in Nelson. And what a game it was, quite interesting. To be honest, going into it, I weren't sure if the All Blacks were going to win by 10 or win by 30. It's just one of those games. The Pumas are a very unpredictable team. You don't know what they're quite going to bring to the table, and so I think a lot of people last night weren't too sure what to expect. I know I had no idea what was going to play out, but in the end, the score 46-24 doesn't really represent how the game went. You know, you look at that score and you think, well, the All Blacks 46 points. You know, they well and truly throttled them. But to be honest, man, like Argentina, credit to them, they dominated all the stats when you look at them. I mean, they had 55% of the possession. They had most of the territory. They only conceded 11 turnovers, New Zealand conceding 17. New Zealand were forced to make a lot of tackles, and especially early in that second half, Argentina were just prodding at the line. They were camped in the All Blacks 22 for a good 10 to 12 minute period. Eventuated with one try after quite a while. But yeah, it was quite an interesting game, and it wasn't the most exciting game of rugby. But it was quite a good watch, you know, and I think Argentina, coming off a win against South Africa 2 weeks ago, their heads were high. They had specific goals where to target the All Blacks, and they achieved those goals. It was just, in the end, you know, the All Blacks are pretty hard to beat at home, and as soon as the All Blacks got some possession, they made something happen. And unfortunately for Argentina, they couldn't quite always get over the advantage line, and that's where the All Blacks got them. As soon as they got ball, magic happened, and they managed to counter and put tries on the board. A couple of talking points was Richie Mwanga finally getting his start in the 10 jersey, and there are a lot of mixed reviews about how he performed last night. I'll talk about my opinion a bit later. Te Toerua Tahu Riorangi, congratulations on your Test match debut. I love seeing debutants, and what really got me was after the game, in the stands, his family did a haka for him, and it just gives you goosebumps, and it really shows you what wearing the jersey means to these boys. You know, he's only in his early 20s, and to see his reaction and his whānau do that haka was, honestly, it was emotional, and it was really cool to see, and he was confident, but I'll talk more about him later. So yeah, all in all, Argentina, to their credit, played a pretty good game, but on the scorecard, the All Blacks managed to run away with it. So let's talk about some players. So Ben Smith, look, early concussion scare in the first 10 minutes, which I was a little bit scared for him because it looked niggly, knee to the back of the head, but he came clear. He made 14 runs and beat 7 defenders. He made 3 handling errors and only made 3 tackles because he wasn't actually asked to make that many last night. He looked good though, very good under the high ball. There was quite a lot of kicking. But no, he had a good game, you know, as you expect from Ben Smith. He wasn't overly flashy, but very reliable and got the job done. So I'm giving him a 7. Nihi Milner-Skudder made his big test return since Cape Town last year. So a lot of eyes were on him. Look, he made 8 runs, he made 9 tackles, and he scored a good try. He just wasn't, you know, your flashy Milner-Skudder. There weren't any amazing Milner-Skudder breaks, or the Skudder step didn't come out too much. So, to be honest, like, his stats look relatively good, but when you watch the game, he's not overly flashy and impressive. So for that, I just give him a 6. I guess he's just getting back into the black jersey. I mean, hopefully he might get a run next week against the Springboks, which I would love to see, and I feel like he'd be a lot better than last night. Jack Goodhue, this one's an interesting one, because if you watch the game, he doesn't look overly flashy, but he gets the job done. I mean, he made 10 runs, 56 metres, he beat 8 defenders, and he made a very good 11 tackles. So his stats are there, and he doesn't have to be a flashy player, Jack Goodhue, which is the good thing. He's gotten really comfortable in that 13 jersey, and I really admire that from a young kid. He's just found it so easy, and he's really matured. So I'm giving him an 8, because he, on paper, actually had a really good game, and I was very impressed by him. So 8 for Jack Goodhue. Nangi Laumape, very unfortunate, went off in the 9th minute with a niggly knee injury. Steve Hansen said he has to wait till Monday to get the scan and results, but apparently pulled up pretty sore, so he might be out for a while. So unfortunately I wasn't able to rate him, but hopefully he comes back soon. Waisaki Naholo, not your flashiest game last night. I'd probably credit that to a lack of ball, to be honest, from Naholo. He made 7 runs, but he only, beat one defender, didn't make a lot of meters. So it was a pretty quiet Naholo game, so for that, I only give him a 6. Richie Mwanga, 80 minutes, 11 runs. Bit tricky to rate him here. A lot of people saying, he had a mixed bag last night, Mwanga, and I feel there was a lot of pressure on him, and probably unneeded pressure that media have put on Mwanga. I mean, he's a great player, and everyone knows he's a great player, and this was his opportunity to shine, but, up against someone of Nicolas Sanchez's calibre is a huge battle. Probably weren't expecting to give him 80 minutes either, but yeah, like his kicking game, he missed a couple of kicking for touch, missed that a couple of times, missed a couple of kicks at goal. Look, when he got the ball, I thought he looked good. I thought he was agile and wanted to challenge the Argentinian defence. And he didn't have a bad game. He just still looks like he's adjusting. But that's not surprising from, a young debutant in such a pivotal role as well. So I'm giving him a 6.5. Plenty of room for improvement though. TJ Perenara, great game. 8.5 straight off the bat. Look, he scored 2 tries. He really stepped into that 9 jersey and he commanded that backline and he drilled that backline, and I think that's what he really needed to do. His running game was superb last night. He wasn't asked to make that many tackles either, but he was very vocal and his leadership really grew, and I think, captaining the Hurricanes has really matured him and taught him a lot, and he was very superb last night. So yeah, as I said, 8.5 for Perenara, just a very, very good game, and I'm very impressed by him. Kieran Reid last night, 58 minutes for Kieran Reid. They were going to give him a bit of a rest. He's played a lot of rugby lately. 10 tackles, only 20 metres off limited carries. Pretty effective at breakdown time, not overly flashy. Got the job done, so I'm going to give Kieran Reid a 7. Ardie Savia, good 80-minute effort from Ardie Savia last night. 21 tackles. That is huge, and that is a reflection of his game last night. He was always in there. He made a pivotal turnover right on the All Blacks goal line when Argentina were looking threatening. Just a great effort from Ardie Savia. He carried really strong as well, really niggly at breakdown time, and I thought he had a fantastic game, so I give him a solid 8. Shannon Frizzell, the hometown hero. Just in his second test, and also got 80 minutes. Don't know if that's what the All Black coaches were expecting, but he pulled it off. 18 tackles, which is huge. Great try. I mean, in your backyard, that is an amazing effort. 15 runs, 3 clean breaks. Steve Hansen said in the post-game interview that he was looking a bit empty on fuel, but then out of nowhere got a second win, and he was just into it. Great effort from Shannon Frizzell. A lot of people are now saying maybe he's the new Jerome Kino, and look, he's got potential for a young kid. He's tall, he's big, and he's very powerful. So an 8 for him as well. Great game. Scott Barrett last night. It wasn't a bad game from Scott Barrett. He did his mahi. He did what he was asked to do. 9 tackles, 8 carries, only 9 metres, so didn't get a lot of running room. Good line-out steal, good at rack time, and yeah, scrummed well. So Scott Barrett, a modest 7. Brodie Retallick, unfortunately, went off in the 9th minute with a niggly shoulder injury. That he looked in a lot of pain, Brodie Retallick. He doesn't often show pain, and he looked pretty sore. So we'll find out, hopefully, on Monday what the deal is with that. Hope he comes right, because, he's a pivotal player. He's a huge player, so I wasn't able to rate him, but best wishes and hope he gets well. Owen Franks, a modest 46 minutes, 7 carries, 3 tackles. Really scrummed well against a really good Argentinian forward pack, and there's not too much more to say about Franks other than he did his job, so I give him a 7. Cody Taylor did not miss a tackle last night. He made 11 from 11. Finally got some more running room, which is what I've been stressing, that Cody Taylor needs room to move, because man, he can for a hooker. 7 runs, 41 metres, good 62-minute effort, Cody Taylor last night. Scrummed really well, lineouts were pretty good. So all in all, pretty good game from Cody Taylor. I was very impressed with his work rate, so I give him a 7.5. Kawa Tuinukuafe, congratulations on your first test start. And boy, did you have a good game last night. Scrummed really well, and especially in the early stages, you know, Argentina, I think, were a bit taken back by how powerful and dominating that All Blacks front row and that tight five really were. So I think that scared them a bit. Kawa Tuinukuafe is a great tackler. Great scrummager and tackler. 7 tackles last night, 3 carries. So all round, very good game. I give him a 7. And now a quick rundown of the bench. Nathan Harris played 18 minutes last night. Did his job, didn't do a lot other than just lineouts and scrums, so I couldn't really rate him. Tim Perry came on, 5 from 5 tackles, 22 minutes. I give him a modest 6, just for his time on the field. Ofa Tuingafasi got a good 34 minutes last night. 4 carries, 7 tackles, scrummed well, and his tackles were hard. He pushed Argentina back, so give him a good 7. Sam Whitelock came on very earlier than expected, 71 minutes, made 15 tackles, was very competitive at line-out time, niggly at ruck time, so a solid 7. Te Tairua Tahurirangi on his debut just looked confident when he came on. I couldn't really rate him off 9 minutes, but his passing was great, and he did make a difference. There was just a spark there of just youth and confidence, and a great assist for the last good Hugh try. So congratulations, and look, I was very impressed, and I really hope you get some more game time. Damien McKenzie came on early for Ben Smith and then went back off. Got 32 minutes overall, 7 runs for 51 metres. His niggly, agile self made a couple of good runs, so I give him a 7. And Anton Leonard-Brown, I thought, had a stellar game last night, to be honest. 71 minutes, 14 tackles, 11 runs, 62 metres, a try assist, and bet 5 defenders. Brought on a lot earlier than he anticipated, but overall, great game, so I give him an 8. And having to come on in the 9th minute when you weren't expecting to, and then put in that effort was great. So, great game, Anton Leonard-Brown. So, all in all, yep, the All Blacks still have a lot of work-ons. Argentina have a lot of work-ons. Next week's game, Argentina travelling over to Australia, will be quite interesting, and I could sense an upset there if Argentina just iron out some errors. Australia won last night, 23-18 over the Springboks. Very close game and very entertaining game to watch. You know, it was very physical. Michael Cheika having dropped Bernard Foley to the bench and starting Kurtley Beale at 10 was interesting. You know, in the end it paid off, but I think everyone was watching number 12, Matt Tamua, who was great at kicking, great at running, and had a pretty solid game in my opinion. So, congratulations to Australia for getting that game. However, they have to keep their heads up for a potent Argentina next week. And New Zealand taking on the Springboks in Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Early prediction, I think the first 40 will be close and physical, but I think the All Blacks just have that mental edge and that fitness level to get around them in the last quarter of the game. So, it should be interesting to watch. Thank you for watching my review. Please drop some feedback, and I will see you guys next week.